Georgia had a really great 2018 season, which all led up to the SEC championship game against Alabama. But unfortunately for Georgia, they ended up falling short to Alabama, cutting them short of the college football playoff. And they ended up playing Texas, which was a tough game as well. And they ended up losing that game to Texas by a short amount. But how will Georgia do in 2019? Will they be able to bounce back, or will they just fall back into the olden days? Today I'm going to be going over Georgia's schedule preview in 2019. Today we're just going to be going over a few bullet points as how I think Georgia's going to do, which are right here. And then I'll be going over their schedule and a few games that I think they will either win or lose. So in 2018, they went 11-3. They returned Jake Fromm, who is a very young guy, and he's really doing well. He did really well last year, really led this team, and he was very impressive as well. There was talk about him possibly making a Heisman run this year, and I think that is very true. We could see him make the Heisman. I don't think he's going to win it this year, but it is very possible in a couple years from now that we could see him making and being a finalist in the Heisman. Holyfield at running back, he leaves for the NFL a year short, so they do lose him. Or they've got a couple young running backs coming in. One is going to be a junior, and he should do very well. I've seen Holyfield especially. I mean, he's going to be a tough loss, but I think that Georgia should be okay there. He has 3 key receivers and a few backup receivers as well. And they also lose a couple backup offensive linemen. But really, other than that, they don't really lose. They almost return their entire offensive line, or for whoever is starting. But those 3 key receivers are going to be tough for Georgia to be able to replace. We'll have to see how they do. I mean, they're going to have a really, really young receiving core, as they're going to have to replace a whole bunch of backups as well. So that is something. I think that's going to be a weak spot for Georgia next year. They lose 2 linebackers and 1 defensive end on defense. And so defensively, I think this is going to be one of the best defenses once again in the SEC, especially in their division. But the offense may struggle a little bit next year, but I still think the defense will be great. Another college football playoff run in 2019, I believe it is possible for Georgia. It just depends on the offense. How is Jake Fromm going to do? If he does well, I think that he's really going to lead this team, and they have a very good chance at another college football playoff run. How will the losses, though, on offense especially, how will they be impactful? I think it's going to be maybe a little rough on offense, but I think that overall, 2019 will still be a great year for the Bulldogs. Next, we have their schedule here. This is their schedule for next year. So they got, in September, really they got one challenge, and that is at home for Notre Dame. And of course, Notre Dame, they're trying to schedule a tougher schedule this year, especially since, they made the College Bowl playoff last year. They just didn't look too great, so they're trying to be able to prove themselves right. But yes, they do have Vanderbilt on the road to start off the season. Kind of hard to start off the season on the road, but I think that they should take care of Vanderbilt. Then they got Murray State, should easily handle them, same as Arkansas State. They got Tennessee a couple weeks later. This schedule, it was really tough for me to be able to see, or to be able to say who they're going to beat and who they're not. Good news, they've got their tough opponents at home, like South Carolina. That's going to be a tough game. I think South Carolina is going to be very improved next year, so watch out for that game. Kentucky, they may fall off a little bit next year. Of course, still going to be a tough team, same as Florida. And Florida's really going to make a run for the SEC championship next year. And then Missouri, another team that could improve. With Missouri, over there they got Jalen Hurts, I believe. Or no, they didn't get Jalen Hurts. They got Kelly Bryant, I believe, from Clemson. So that is going to be huge for Missouri. And then Auburn, of course, on the road. That's going to be another tougher game. And then Texas A&M at home to end off the season. So really, that 6-game stretch right there is going to be tough for Georgia. It's hard for me to predict that right now. I think that they've got a good chance of winning all 6 of those games. But I don't think they're going to win all 6, I got to say. They probably are going to lose 1 or 2 in there, I think. The games that I think have the highest chance of them losing include South Carolina and Florida. That's what I would say. The thing is, though, they have to go into Georgia and win that game. So, good news for Georgia to be able to have all their tough opponents at home. And then Georgia Tech at the end of the season should take care of them. Not expecting much from Georgia Tech at all next year. So yeah, estimated record right now. Very hard to predict the record, but I'd say 9-3 to 12-0. 9-3 being the worst case scenario, and 12-0 being the best. So that's what you can kind of expect from Georgia. Once again, I'll go over these teams in the summer again. I'll give a full-out preview, and I'll let you guys know who I think will win and who I think will lose, or who I think Georgia will lose to. So that is it for this video. Thank you guys for watching. Be sure to let me know your guys' thoughts. If you disagree with this, be sure to not let your thoughts go unknown. I like to hear your guys' responses. So, yep, that's it for this video. More previews to come. We've got the SEC now for the next couple weeks. We're going to finish off the SEC, and we're going to do it conference by conference for the next month or so. So, thank you guys for watching once again. Leave your thoughts in the comments below. Show some support, and only if you'd like to, and I will see you all later.